Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Foster care parents from the Spirit Lake Reservation are accused of beating a 5-year-old girl to death. Less than 2 hours ago, the pair appeared before a federal judge to have their charges read. Eric Longy Jr. and Tammy Longy were both arrested by the FBI Friday night. They're accused of beating other kids in their care and of killing Raven Thompson. There is a news conference going on right now in downtown Fargo at the federal courthouse. Let's go there for a minute and listen in.
Eric Longy Jr. and Tammy Longy, also known as Tammy One Bear, were interviewed by law enforcement, FBI, in the jurisdictional lead on this matter, BIA rather, in support and partnership thereof. As I said, it was indicated very immediately as a top federal priority matter. A number of interviews were conducted in addition to those two subjects at the time, subjects of the investigation, and others, examinations, other interviews of minor children. It was quickly determined that there were 12 people on the premises when law enforcement arrived back on May 6th, a combination of adults and a number of minor children, including, as I mentioned, Zane Thompson and the then deceased Raven Thompson. Last week, based on that investigation, which I want to stress is an ongoing investigation, it is not in any way bookended by the activities of today. This is an important milestone in this investigation and procedure through. However, it is just that. It is a milestone. It is a very active investigation. Several witnesses yet to be interviewed forensically and otherwise, and that will continue on and has continued on in a seamless fashion. I want to commend the men and women of the FBI, the men and women of the BIA, and the others who have participated in this investigation, to include the forensic investigators and the medical professionals who played such a central role. Last week, my office prepared and presented to a federal magistrate arrest warrant, a proposed arrest warrant based on an affidavit of probable cause of the material involved in this case that we believed would be sufficient to support the issuance of an arrest warrant. I want to make clear, I know that those materials have been made public today. They obviously become uncovered when the court moves forward. I want to make very clear, they do not represent either the entirety of what we know and what is known to investigators at this time, nor do I expect that they will encompass the entirety of what we will continue to learn in this investigation. I want to stress that it's important we include in those documents only such information as is necessary and sufficient in our belief to uphold a determination of probable cause in the issuance of an arrest warrant. Judge Seneschal last week did issue that warrant after reviewing our materials, the prepared affidavits and the other probable cause materials. She reviewed that and did issue that warrant. Late Friday afternoon/early evening, federal law enforcement led by the FBI and BIA did take into custody the two defendants so far, Tammy Longy and Eric Longy. The complaints, which I know that you've seen already, and I'm going to explain complaints in a moment versus indictments. The complaints at this point contain a number of charges, all involving the alleged assaults on children. The two that I've already mentioned, Raven and Zane Thompson. The charges against both of the defendants allege assault resulting in serious bodily injury for what we allege are the injuries caused to Raven and the injuries caused to her brother, Zane. It should be noted that because of a statutory enhancement that comes along with the age of the victims, the alleged victims all being under the age of 18, the statutory enhancement makes each of those charges, each of them, for which both defendants are charged twice, each of those has a potential maximum penalty of life in prison. Both of the defendants are also charged with two separate counts of assault. Those pertain to two additional minor victims which our investigation shows at this point, for which there's probable cause to believe that they were.
All right, you're listening to U.S. Attorney Drew Wrigley at the federal courthouse in downtown Fargo. We've got a reporter there, Joshua Pagero, so you can expect more on this story regarding the death of a young child, allegedly at the hands of two foster care parents from the Spirit Lake Reservation. More on this tonight in our evening newscasts. In other news, health officials in North Dakota are confirming 31 new cases and 1 death linked to the coronavirus. The latest victim was a woman in her 90s from Ramsey County. The death toll now sits at 44. There have been 1,931 confirmed cases in the state. 1,219 have recovered from the illness, meaning there are 712 active cases. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, health officials are reporting 705 new cases across the state. This brings the state to a total of 16,372 positive cases. However, the death toll increased by 9, bringing that total to 731. Most of those cases are in nursing homes and long-term care facilities. 10,764 people are listed as recovered. Authorities in the FM Metro are alerting you about an alleged mountain lion spotted in the city. The department says it has received a couple of calls about a mountain lion around Lemke Park off of 32nd Avenue South. Police were not able to find the animal. Game and Fish have been notified. Another hot and sunny day, and we're getting used to it, aren't we? Let's get the latest on this evening, though. Here's Hutch with your First Alert forecast. Hutch.
All right, Andrea, thanks so much. We're looking to the southwest of our tower here in Fargo at the Valley Sky Cam. A little bit of a fire going on out there. And as we take a look at the skies over the city today, what a beautiful sight this was, captured by Alicia Marie. Thank you so much for sharing your photo of this, the B-52H Flying Fortress over our area. And thank you to all in healthcare who are helping keep us all and get us all through these times. Temperatures today, absolutely marvelous. 70s for most to near 80 degrees, hardly a cloud in the sky. Andrea, your planner for tonight looks like this. Temperatures are going to sneak down into the 60s, but not until after sunset. That wind that's been breezy at times will settle down a pinch as we head into the late evening hours. Here's a peek at Grand Forks up to the north. I'm anticipating temperatures there to stay in the 70s as well until sunset, which happens at 9:05. I'll have hour-by-hour details here in just a couple of moments on what we can expect as we go through this warmer week of weather here in the valley.
Right, thanks, Hutch. Police are alerting the public to a high-risk sex offender now living in North Fargo. 67-year-old David Ashenko is now living at 1225 8th Street North. That's 2 blocks away from Roosevelt Elementary. He was convicted of having more than 2,000 images of child porn. Ashenko must register for a lifetime. A 19-year-old man is now facing criminal sexual conduct charges for allegedly having sex with an underage girl. Court documents say 19-year-old Matthew Romero had sex with a 14-year-old and told her not to tell anyone because he would get in trouble. If convicted, Romero faces up to 30 years in prison. Authorities in Bemidji need your help finding a missing 13-year-old. Megan Barney was last seen near Hillcrest Manor Mobile Home Park in Bemidji yesterday around 4 in the afternoon. They believe she may still be in the Bemidji area, but also say she has family in the Cloquet area. The owner of a group of central Minnesota taverns today backed off on his threat to reopen after talks of a lawsuit by Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. Shady's Hometown Tavern and Event Center in Albany was scheduled to open today. The owner, Chris Schiffler, addressed a crowd estimated at over 200 people that had gathered outside his location today, saying that defying the stay safe order and taking on the state is just not worth it. Schiffler told the crowd he and his staff were ready to reopen and operate safely in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, his attorney advised him not to after a Stearns County judge issued a temporary restraining order banning him from opening. If he had gone through with it, Schiffler was facing a $25,000 fine for each of his businesses that opened. Deaths related to COVID-19 have topped 90,000 in the United States. According to NBC News, the coronavirus death toll now stands at more than 90,000, and 1.5 million cases have been confirmed in the country. Nearly 2,000 people died in the U.S. on Sunday alone. Officials at the CDC say they expect the death toll to hit 100,000 by June 1st. 315,000 people have died from the virus worldwide, according to Johns Hopkins University data. Sanford staff plus dozens of onlookers along 23rd Avenue South enjoyed a show as a B-52 flew over the hospital. Sanford says the tribute shows the similarities between military branches and the frontline healthcare workers during the pandemic. The aircraft made its way around the state, flying over Bismarck, Fargo, Grand Forks, and Minot. Still ahead tonight, as some retail stores open back up, a peek at what the new normal is for shopping.
And finally, a little bit of sun for us on the weekend here, and it continues into the start of our work week. We hit 78 in Grand Forks and Fargo, 79 so far in Crookston. Your hour-by-hour forecast shows more warm weather ahead. Details are next.